guys, welcome to the review show. My name's Austin. Top Gun Maverick is starring Tom Cruise. After all these years, Maverick has been called back to Top Gun to instruct these new students for this highly dangerous mission. I have no words. I love this movie. I don't see a single problem with this movie. Yes, like there's nitpicks for sure. Like there's this new romantic love interest that's kind of like out of left field a little bit, but you kind of get used to it. But we'll get to that later on. But I was really worried about this movie because I thought this movie was just going to be bad, and it's like, oh, this is like past its due date. Like it's been like over, I guess, almost 40 years now. Close to 40 years, I believe. I don't know. I think the first Top Gun came out in like 1987. I might be wrong. It's in those 80s realms for sure. But I was just honestly really worried about it. I love the first Top Gun movie. I honestly think it's not a masterpiece, but I think it's like a really good movie. There's people that have problems with it, and yeah, there's certain things as well. I mean, like it's for a certain time period. It's as well. You can feel like that time period essence in that movie. But again, I don't like, like that's not how I don't let the movie bypass that or anything. But it's like I'm kind of fine with it because it's not like terrible in any way. But yeah, so I was going in. I was like, I had my expectations low. It's like, all right, please don't be terrible, and my expectations, it just blew over it. It blew. This is A+ material movie, and like because I love it. I fucking love it. I mean, like the movie starts out how the original started out. I was like, okay, I don't know about this. I mean, but it's like, okay, it's doing meta stuff, fan service. It's like, oh, let's get this out of the way, and next let's start our own movies, tell our own story, start the actual sequel, and it was really good. I mean, like the dynamic of Tom Cruise had to become an instructor is such an interesting thing because he's like his character Maverick isn't like a character like a character you would think of teaching. I mean, like, yes, the original movie ended with him being an instructor at Top Gun, but you find out in this one he kind of left after a few months because he just wasn't good at it. So he has to come over that, and you kind of also have that of a subplot of him not being over his Goose's death. Really, he's kind of still blaming himself after all these years. I'm like, okay, this is interesting. I mean, like, it kind of makes sense. I'm fine with it. Yeah, it's just like, it's like there's a lot of moments in that movie. It's like, I mean, sure, yeah, okay. I mean, like it's not like terrible or anything, but I'm fine with it being there. Like you have Goose's son in the movie as well. It's like his name is like Roos, something like that, Rooster. And I was like, I don't know about this. But then because at first it's like, but then overall, it kind of grew on me, and it's like, all right, I like this. I really like their dynamic because his son blames Tom Cruise for what happens to his father's death, and it's like, that makes sense. All right, let's see what you do with it, and it kind of pays off at the end. I'm like, this is really, I buy these characters. Now, there's some of the students, like, they are not the greatest or anything, like, or you just don't really care about them. You kind of wish, like, something, they could be like expendable characters, but I can't really say anything else to that. They just kind of like are there and sort of not like, because like in the first movie you have because Tom Cruise is one of the students, so like you get to reconcile with all the other students and kind of learn a little bit about them. And here it's like, well, the movie's more focusing on Tom Cruise, so it doesn't really have time to focus on the students, so you don't really get to know them. But overall, they're fine. They're not like annoying or anything like that, or they don't drag the movie down. That they're one of the best parts. They just don't really have that much like character development wise. Besides that, but yeah, I don't really know what else to say. I wish the movie did have some balls at the end. The fighting in the movie, like the dog fights, is really awesome. Like you actually can feel that that you're in the cockpit at the you actually can feel like you're in the plane in the jets with the actors, and it's been before the movie was released. There's behind the scenes of them actually flying the jet, which is pretty cool. I guarantee there's probably maybe a couple of stunts that they didn't allow the actors to do, especially Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise probably couldn't do some of them, but most of the time it was them actually in the jet flying themselves. It was pretty cool. I really liked it, and like you actually felt being in it, and it's like I don't know what to expect, and the camera work and everything was awesome. It was pretty cool. The interest in this movie is honestly a little bit better in this one than the original. In the original, it was kind of weird and awkward at first, but you kind of buy it. Here, it kind of feels generous, like because this new love interest is played by Jennifer Connelly. I honestly really like her in anything, so I was like, all right, I accept this. But you know, between those like 30 to 40 years gap of these two movies, they had something. And so it's like, all right, this is kind of cool, like cool little backstory, you know, filling in the gaps of like what Tom Cruise was been up to and such. And so it's like, all right, yeah. I mean, you guys look cute together, so I'm fine with it. And like they kind of have a little chemistry moment. Like there's one scene with them on this sailing boat. Like, you know, Tom Cruise is learning how to sail and all that. That's a pretty cool bonding moment. And there's just a couple, you know, there's like great scenes with them overall, and it's just like that's the number one that comes to my mind. But yeah, I really enjoyed Top Gun Maverick. I thought it was gonna be like a terrible movie, but I was honestly really surprised of how well that they handled the characters, and you know, did not go overboard with the fan service. And they actually kind of use like some of the fan service into the story, and it makes sense in some sort of way. There is a great cameo as well in the movie. I'm not going to spoil who it is, but it's a really good one, and they actually use it pretty well with a certain condition of an actor that couldn't really speak. And it was a pretty cool. I'm gonna give Top Gun Maverick an A+. I honestly really like it. I don't care what anyone else says. I think this is the best movie of all year. Plus, I haven't really seen that many good movies. They're mostly been crap. But yeah, overall, I really enjoyed it, and I want to see it again a couple more times in the theater. And what also blows me is how many people went out to see this. It was a packed theater, which was pretty good. But anyway, let me know what you guys thought about Top Gun Maverick down below. Thank you for watching, and like always, I'll see you guys next review. Bye, guys.